So many great Secret Santas have donated all day long. We started this radiothon, our 13th annual Secret Santa, at 6 a.m. this morning, LauRen, and now here we are 12 hours later, and we made a lofty goal of $30,000 for the Autism Strong Foundation.
We have 1 hour left.
Well, we want to say thank you to so many people who have donated, just like Eric, who says, I just donated on behalf of my law enforcement motorcycle club, Hades Hounds of Myrtle Beach. My son Dylan is on the spectrum, so this is near and dear to my heart. Thank you guys so much for everything you do.
And thank you for your donation. We also want to say thank you to Elias Noche, Charlotte Golf Carts, ABS Kids, Charlotte Ascent FC, Ryan's Place, ABS Kids, and of course, Jiffy Lube.
Our 6 o'clock sponsor. Thanks to all of our sponsors. And let's say hi to Rudy and Bex, who started the Autism Strong Foundation, although this morning they couldn't decide what year it was. We know it was a long time ago. And in your kitchen in Waxhaw, North Carolina.
Yep.
And how far we've come. How does it feel to watch a day like today unfold with all the radio stations here at the Beasley Media Group?
It's surreal. It really is. I don't think in my wildest dreams that I think that this is where we would be. And we can't have done this without LauRen opening up her story. I'll cry.
I know. I'm like, I've cried a lot today, Bex.
But it really is hard to share your story and to say it out loud. My child has autism, and to do it on radio takes a lot of courage. And today wouldn't have happened if you hadn't have done that. So from Rudy and I and our foundation, we say thank you very much for just opening up your life to us.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be part of something so big and so beautiful and help so many people here in the Carolinas.
This morning, you spoke, Rudy, about your son. For those who are listening this evening that might not know the story, can you quickly tell us why you were motivated to do something and start the Autism Strong Foundation?
Yeah, when you get diagnosed with autism, you have so many questions, and you don't know, right? And you have this vision of what your child is going to be, and then when it gets flipped and you're like, oh, we're not going that direction, you have a lot of kind of angst, anxiety, and you don't even know what to do. So for us, I'll tell you, the first few years were tough. We don't talk about it a lot, but they were tough. A lot of grieving, a lot of crying. But once we got through that, we realized that we wanted to use Landon's story for good. Our son is nonverbal, but he still has a voice. Mm-hmm. And what's great about today, as I think about it, is his voice is being heard loudly with what we're doing with the foundation. LauRen, you sharing your story on the air opened so many people's eyes that they're not alone. Mm-hmm. They're not alone in this journey. And what today tells me, Maney, is that we're all not alone in this journey. That everyone that's called in, that's dialed in and given money, they've texted, we're not walking this journey alone. And for that, we're just so grateful.
Something that strikes me when I hear Rudy speak a lot, he talks about how he never, and Bex, they never had this on their bingo card, right? Like they never thought that they would be running a nonprofit.
Right.
And the amount of people that you all touch here in our own community is life-changing to so many. What was it like the first time that somebody reached out to you and said thank you?
Well, I cried because I cry when I talk to every single family that we help. But I think more so like, yes, we help them financially, but I think we help them emotionally too. Letting them know they have somebody. They're not alone. That just because their child is different, that doesn't make them any less special. And they deserve the best therapies out there. And I think that having these families tell us how much they mean, it's almost us saying, you don't know how much you mean to us. Because this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to help. And so we're so thankful that you came to us because that serves the purpose of this foundation.
I literally remember that exact moment, LauRen. I share this openly. There were a lot of times during that grieving process, I questioned, why God? Why my son? Why? And the second I hugged our first scholarship recipient, I knew why. All those questions completely went away. I knew Landon's story was going to be used for something much bigger.
It's interesting because you said, Rudy, that the struggles behind the scene were real. And I can sit here and tell you that there was countless mornings where LauRen, who hadn't talked about Cash on the air yet, and the fact that he was touched with autism, the conversations we had, LauRen, off the air
Yeah.
in the studio.
Oh God! Oh, I'm gonna get emotional because
And then we would go on the air and do the show.
And
we would do the show, and then we would go back off the air again, and we would sit and talk about therapies and about before we even knew the Autism Strong Foundation
Yeah.
existed.
And, it kind of goes back to what you just said, Bex, that, you say thank you to the families. Like it's a community, right? Even our listeners who didn't know that they were helping me through a time where I didn't know what to do as a mom. And yes, Maney and I would sit in here and we would have conversations that I would pour my heart out in tears and then dry my tears and have to go on and, do a show. But that gave me something, to focus on too. And our listeners have helped me through that period of time. And I can't say thank you enough. Like, this is my thank you by giving back to the autism community. So thank you if you've called and you donated today. Thank you if you're even thinking about calling and donating this last hour, or if you shared it on social media. Thank you for just being part of inclusion and acceptance and helping us spread the word.
You even got me welting up here thinking about going back to those days where you just felt helpless, and now you don't have to feel helpless. And if you're a Secret Santa and you feel the need to give this holiday season, we're asking if you can give to the Autism Strong Foundation that Bex and Rudy started, and our friend Steph, who's in the studio, is now running. Please call 844-ASF-GIVE. That's 844-ASF-GIVE on behalf of Landon, who's nonverbal and loves that tablet, I bet, so that you guys can communicate.
Yes. Oh, he sure does.
Those tablets aren't free. They're $100. If you can donate $100 right now, it would go so far to help so many families get that tablet so they could communicate and hear I love you, hear mommy, hear daddy, communicate with these children. It's amazing, and the Secret Santas are pouring in, and we got our number, and we're about 30 minutes away from getting there. And LauRen will sing Popular on a loop until we get our number. That will happen.
It does sound painful for everyone.
All right, 844-ASF-GIVE. Rudy, Bex, thanks so much for coming in and letting us be part of such a great organization for the day. We're not done. We're pushing forward, but thank you guys. Thanks for sharing your story. More Secret Santa with the Maney and LauRen Morning Show coming your way in just a few minutes.